the nation in shots on goal per game with 11.1. You know who leads the nation in overall shots per game? Great guess. It's BYU. 26.1 a contest. They are third in the nation in shots on goal per contest. Second round matchup, so both teams already with one tournament win under their belts. BYU, a 3-0 home victory last Friday against Utah Valley, an in-state foe that was the last team to beat the Cougars. Utah Valley came into Provo on September the 10th, beat BYU 4-2. Cougars have not lost since then. 4 draws in the ledger, but 8 victories to go against. 4 draws and no defeats in the last 12 matchups. BYU coming in terrific form. Equally terrific form, Stanford. The Cardinal winners 6-0 over San Jose State on Friday night in the first round. They have not lost since September 23rd against USC, an 11-game unbeaten streak for Stanford. BYU, the reigning national runners-up in the white uniforms. Blue bottoms for the Cougars. Stanford in the all-Cardinal red from head to toe. 3 seed versus the 6 seed. 2 of the most successful women's soccer programs in the western United States, coming all the way across the country here to Chapel Hill to face off in this round of 32. Early run inside the box for Jasmine Akey, number 12 in red. What a game she had against San Jose State in the first round. Akey scored 4 goals for Stanford of their 6 in the blowout win over the Spartans. Ball comes into the box, headed on by Akey and wide. But Jasmine Akey in that 6-0 win. 4 goals to surpass the hat trick she had in the regular season against Oregon State. But when you look at them in context, it's even more impressive. First goal of the game in the 31st minute to put Stanford on the scoreboard. Then recorded a hat trick in a 3-minute span. She scored in the 49th minute, the 51st minute, and the 52nd minute. 4 goals of the 6. Really impressive performance for this Cardinal team that has not been beaten in their last 11. Cougars inside the box for the first time. Ball crossed wide and plenty of space out there for Ellie Mon, the midfielder, headed on. Brecken Mozingo, her cross is blocked and cleared away. Here comes Stanford the other direction. Akey again settles it down. Drops it back for Kelly Pagador, the outside back. Stanford began this season as preseason favorites in the Pac-12 for the 7th time in the last 8 seasons. But the national soccer community not exactly as high on the Cardinal coming into the year. They were number 21 in the preseason poll. All Stanford did was come out and win 5 in a row to open up the season. Their 2 losses on the campaign. September 8th at Northwestern by a 1-0 final, and then their last defeat, September 23rd at USC. Stanford in the direction of Paul Ratcliffe, 20th year head coach in Palo Alto, 1994 UCLA alum. 357 wins at Stanford, 411 in his career in total. Earned his 400th win as a head coach on September the 11th at DePaul. So Coach Ratcliffe, longtime leader of this Stanford program. The only head coach that BYU has ever known is Jennifer Rockwood. The BYU alum in her 28th season took the Cougars to the national championship game last year. They were defeated by Florida State out of the ACC. 6 round of 16s, 3 national quarterfinal appearances for BYU in their program history. BYU has never made the round of 16 in back-to-back seasons. They're trying to change that here. The winner of this one moving on to see the winner of North Carolina and Georgia. Perhaps an opportunity here for the Cougars. Long distance shot is in! BYU strikes first! Olivia Wade, the junior. A 4th-minute tally for Olivia Wade. And in BYU's first shot of the game, the Cougars are on the board. Check this out. Wade turns the corner, takes the rip herself from about 23 yards out, and buries it past Stanford keeper Ryan Campbell. So an unassisted goal for Olivia Wade, and BYU strikes first. 8th goal of the season for Olivia Wade. Wade has started every game for BYU this year. Terrific start for the Cougars. In goal for BYU, Savannah Mason. Mason, a sophomore from American Fork, Utah. Picked up the clean sheet against Utah Valley in the opening round of the NCAA tournament. First career postseason start, first career postseason clean sheet for Mason. So now Stanford finds themselves having to come from behind. They last conceded a goal, the only goal that they've conceded since October 9th in their regular season finale rivalry game against Cal. That was a 1-1 draw. Played forward by Rachel McCarthy, easily handled by Campbell between the pipes for the Cardinal. Nothing Cougars. Olivia Wade with the goal. Unassisted in the 4th minute. 11th meeting between these two teams. Stanford leads the series 7-3. It's the 6th time that they've met in the NCAA tournament. Stanford with the advantage there, 3-2. First 2 NCAA meetings went to the Cougars. 98 first round, a 6-1 dominant victory by BYU, then another 5-goal win in the second round in 2000. 5-0 was the final in that one. But Stanford won their first postseason matchup against BYU in 2009 in the second round, 2-0. Teams would meet again in 2015 in the second round, a 2-1 Stanford victory. And then the last meeting between these two teams came in the NCAA tournament. That was back in 2019. NCAA quarterfinals, a 5-1 Stanford win at home. Cardinal would go on to claim the national championship that year in penalty kicks over the team that plays their home games on this field, the North Carolina Tar Heels. McCarthy wins possession back for BYU. Here's Wade, the goal scorer. Wade bringing it forward again, dribbles past one defender. Drops it out wide. Jamie Shepard. Shepard toward the end line. Mazingo's cross, gathered in by Campbell. The 1-0 lead for BYU. You feel like the scoring in this one is definitely not finished. Stanford second nationally, or second in the conference rather, in the Pac-12, 8th nationally in goals per game at 2.7. BYU averages 2.5. That's tops in the West Coast Conference, 10th in the nation. So 2 of the top 10 scoring offenses in the entire country facing off here at Dorrance Fields. The first time these two have ever met at a neutral venue in the postseason. Stanford unable to keep possession. Most of the 50-50 balls going BYU's way early. Savannah Mason, the keeper for the Cougars, I think has 1 touch so far in this one. Stanford trying to change that here. It's Akey. Drops it out wide. Akey making a run into the box. Cross is blocked. Samantha Williams, 25 in Cardinal red out there on the flank. Second ball back in along the far post, and the 1 touch sails wide off the left boots of Abby Grubel. Grubel, 24 in Cardinal red. So BYU will play it out here. Just over 8 minutes into the contest. 1 back by Stanford. Switch of play for the Cardinal. They'll drop it back. Paige Rubenstein. Rubenstein forward. Back to Rubenstein it goes. Rubenstein dips it centrally. Elise Evans over the ball. Kennedy Wesley, 15 in Cardinal red. Making her way forward across the midline. Wesley, beautiful through ball for Grubel, but Grubel was offside. Flag comes up for the first time. Free kick for BYU. 3-0 winners over Utah Valley in the opening round. Allie Fryer scored in the 39th minute to put the Cougars on top 1-0. Score would hold 1-0 until the 70th minute. Tara Warner, off an assist from Jamie Shepard, would double the lead. Rachel McCarthy scored the final goal, the icing on the cake for BYU. 79th minute tally for McCarthy got the job done in the 3-0 win. BYU an at-large selection out of the West Coast Conference. Akey over the ball. Keeps possession for the Cardinals. She'll dribble it inside the box herself. 3-on-3. Out wide for Grubel. Grubel, her shot blocked. Spins free. Engie takes a look. And Sierra Engie sends it high and away. But it is out off of BYU, and Stanford will have a corner for the first time today. Stanford on the season, third best in the Pac-12, 30th nationally. 6.3 corners a game. BYU concedes very, very few corners. Just 2 1/3 corners per game given up by the Cougars. Stanford trying to take advantage here. Headed inside the 6, second ball. BYU withstands the initial pressure. Ball forward, 1v1 off the crossbar. Second chance, bounces wide. It will be a corner, but the crossbar denies Samantha Williams. Stanford a golden chance to equalize the game, but Williams into the woodwork. Second corner of the game for Stanford. This one headed on and flipped wide. Cleared out by BYU. Shots early on in this one, now 6-1 Stanford, but shots on goal even at 1. BYU's one shot on goal found the back of the net. Stanford drops it all the way back. Elise Evans over the ball for the Cardinal. Possession has shifted Stanford's way heavily over the last few minutes. And as we predicted, with 2 of the most prolific offenses in the entire country, both by volume and success, this game has been wide open early on. Second round matchup in the NCAA tournament. Both teams winners by multiple goals in the first round. Grubel takes a look. Winner of this one moves on to see the winner of North Carolina and Georgia. Tar Heels and the Bulldogs coming up here at Dorrance Field. 6 o'clock start in that one. Round of 16 appearance on the line in both games today. Savannah Mason sends the ball away. Center referee today, Mark Kadlec. Raymond Thomas, Marcus Moss are ARs. On a bright, sunshiny day in Chapel Hill, but if you were with us for the first game, we said it. Do not let the sunshine and the lack of clouds in the sky fool you. It is chilly. Temperatures in the mid-40s today. Ball over the top. Can Akey get to it? Some contact, play on. Williams. Samantha Williams hit the post just a moment ago, and the clock will come to a stop. Mr. Kadlec reaches into his pocket. I believe that we'll have a booking. That is the case. Card comes out for the first time. Kendall Peterson, the guilty party. So Kendall Peterson picks up a yellow card. 15th minute of action here. Stanford will have a free kick. Well outside the 18-yard box. Tough angle. Here it comes. First ball won by BYU. Second ball left wide. Samantha Williams again with the shot. So Stanford firing on all cylinders offensively since conceding that goal. The 5th minute of play. Mason standing over the ball. And away it goes. You may have seen in that last shot, the wide shot as Mason let the goal kick go. A solitary figure standing in the stands up behind Mason. Sanson Dorrance, the man for whom this facility is named, legendary head coach of the North Carolina Tar Heels, scouting the potential opposition should his team advance past Georgia tonight. Jasmine Ike took a look. Mason again. Ike. Ike dips it wide for Grubel. Engie out wide now. Paige Rubenstein coming up from the back line. Switch of play. Kelly Pagador outside back. Pagador has Grubel behind her after the overlapping run. And ushered away by the BYU defense. All the way forward. Here comes the run from Rachel McCarthy. Ryan Campbell, the keeper for Stanford, plays it away and out of bounds for a BYU throw. Throw in coming from Olivia Smith. Even though both of these teams have traveled a long distance to get here, BYU over 2,100 miles, Stanford nearly 2,800 miles from Palo Alto. Neither of these teams making their first appearance at Dorrance Field. Stanford, a year ago, came on a trip east to face the two Tobacco Road schools, Duke and North Carolina. They fell to Duke 2-1 in regulation in Durham in early September 2021. Took the Tar Heels to overtime. Eventually fell 2-1 in that contest, Labor Day Sunday of 2021. This is the first time BYU has played a game that counts on this field, but they were here this season, all the way back in early August. It was North Carolina's first exhibition matchup way back in August. North Carolina won it 2-0. So a return to this facility for so many of these players. The only folks in this game that have not appeared at Dorrance Field before, Stanford first-year players who were not part of the program last year. And what a stacked regional pod this is. North Carolina with its 21 national championships. Stanford has 3 national titles since 2011. BYU played for a national championship last year. They've been to the national quarterfinals 3 times recently. Then you have Georgia. Georgia a little bit out of the national spotlight in recent years, but hiring Kadani McAlpine away from USC, national champion coach there. He's in his first year, and he immediately takes Georgia back to the tournament for the first time since 2014, gets them into the second round for the first time since 2011. Just a really entertaining group of 4 teams here in Chapel Hill. Long cross toward the top of the 6. Grubel heads it wide. Savannah Mason, 2 saves so far to keep her Cougars on top 1-0. The offense provided by Olivia Wade, an unassisted goal in the 4th minute. The shot number, by the way, 10-1 now. But 1 shot, 1 goal, BYU ahead in the column that counts. We're in the captain's armband for Stanford. Kennedy Wesley, senior from Rossmore, California, 15 in Cardinal Red. Ike to another captain in Maya Doms. Ike, cross is blocked, and it'll bounce away for a Stanford throw. Maya Doms, 10 in Cardinal Red, began the season on the Herman Trophy watch list, essentially the Heisman Trophy of college soccer, awarded by the Missouri Athletic Club to the top men's and women's player in the nation. Ball taken away by Wade, the goal scorer for BYU. McCarthy cannot dribble it past Wesley. Ike turned, forgot the ball. Leveni Vaca, 26 in white. McCarthy works it centrally. Ball played forward. This is Mazingo. Franken Mazingo dribbling in. Stanford plays it away. Here comes Samantha Williams. Had the best look at an equalizer for the Cardinal. Hit the crossbar with a shot. Ball back forward to Ike. Mason off her line, and we're level. The 5th goal of the NCAA tournament for Jasmine Ike. Four goals in the opening round win against San Jose State. And now she scores Stanford's first of round number 2. What a beautiful give and go. Maya Doms sends the through ball on, and Ike finishes it. We told you when you get 2 of the best offenses in the country on the same field, a 4th minute goal probably not going to hold up. So a 22nd minute tally from Jasmine Ike levels us at 1. And that changes things dramatically because BYU could hang their hat on the fact that they were ahead on the scoreboard 1-0. Truth be told, Stanford has dominated much of the possession, especially since the opening minutes of this contest. Brecken Mazingo drops it back as now the Cougars will try and regroup following conceding the equalizer. Maya Doms with the assist, Jasmine Ike with the goal. For Doms, it's assist number 5 on the season. For Ike, her 10th goal of the year. Kind of remarkable in the sense that coming into this game, Jasmine Ike had 9 goals on the year, but 7 of them in 2 games. Hat trick against Oregon State back in October, and then the 4-goal game against San Jose State last week. Still, though, 9 goals. The team lead for Stanford. Samantha Williams has 7 tallies on the campaign. Abby Grubel with 5, as does Ali Montoya. But a very balanced offense for Stanford. Nine players on this Stanford roster have at least 3 goals this year. 3rd nationally in total goals coming into play today. 57 of them on the season. Ball over the top. See if BYU can build anything through the midfield here. Brecken Mozingo forward for Wade, the goal scorer. Taken away. This is Williams. Williams has already hit the crossbar once today. Up and well out of play. Few hardy souls over there on that far side. Nowadays, the sun's starting to dip away. 3:30 in the afternoon Eastern time at Dorrance Field. That far side completely in the shade, and on a chilly day, no solar heat. That's quite the experience over there. Cross into the box. BYU will take possession here. Winner of this matchup to see North Carolina or Georgia in the round of 16. Saturday at 11:30 a.m. Early start from Dorrance Fields. Ike a touch slow starting her run. Long ball forward. Sierra Engie drops it wide. Stanford played all the way back to the back line. Cardinal continue to dominate possession. They hold the lead in shots 11-1, shots on goal 3-1. Grubel toward the end line. Here comes a cross. It's playable for Stanford. Past Engie, though. Wade will lead the counter for BYU, only to see the Cardinal win possession back. Pagador. So Stanford has rebounded nicely after conceding just their 2nd goal since October the 9th. Rubenstein, after losing her footing, finds Wesley near the mid-stripe. Played away again. BYU trying to build patiently, but unable to get it out of their defensive half again. Engie, all sorts of space out wide for Grubel. Grubel keeps it at her feet. It's blocked and will bounce away over the end line. Corner coming up for Stanford, their 3rd of the game. See Abby Grubel keeping this one in play and winning the corner for the Cardinal. So here we are, 18 minutes left in the first half, and Stanford takes their 3rd corner of the game. Headed in the air, still free. And it'll bounce away. BYU with a goal kick, and the Cougars will make 3 subs. Into the proceedings for BYU, Zoe Jacobs, junior from Kaysville, Utah. Daviana Vaca, sophomore from Sandy, Utah, sister of Lavini Vaca. And Savannah Mason taking her time here, allowing her teammates to catch their breath. BYU's been defending an awful lot here in recent minutes. But Stanford already at 3 corners on the game. That is past the average of what BYU gives up per contest. We still have a good chunk of the first half to go. First time in a while the ball's gone down to this end of the field, the shaded end. And this time of day, at this time of year, the end of the field at which you're attacking at Dorrance Field matters, because Savannah Mason, the keeper for BYU, is staring straight into the sun. Ryan Campbell of Stanford, she's completely in the shade, but by the time Campbell goes down to the other end after halftime, sun will dip even lower, and it'll be close to sunset with the lights in near full effect by the time we'd be done with regulation time in this game. Wade scored the goal in the 4th minute. Good through ball for McCarthy. Punched away by Campbell. It'll be a corner for BYU there first, but Ryan Campbell stands tall to deny McCarthy. Olivia Wade making things happen for BYU again after scoring the goal from a similar spot on the field. This time sends it forward for McCarthy, and the Cougars will line up for their first corner of the contest. To the top of the 6, headed over the bar. Stanford will take it coming out. 20th year head coach at Stanford, Paul Ratcliffe, goes to his bench for the first time. 2 new players coming in for Stanford. One of the newcomers, Catherine Paulson, 3rd-year sophomore from Los Altos, California. Logan Smith, freshman out of Boise, Idaho, the other sub to come on for the Cardinal. Samantha Williams, Abby Grubel to the bench. So Paulson and Smith. Ike stays out there at the top of the formation for the Cardinal. Her 5th goal of the NCAA tournament, evened up this game at 1 apiece. Engie taken back by BYU. Here's Wade in that same spot on the field. McCarthy runs into Kennedy Wesley. Campbell will take advantage of the slowed traffic to gather in the ball. (1-1) on the scoreboard, 12-3 in the shots column in favor of Stanford in this second round matchup, where the winner sees the winner of North Carolina and Georgia on Saturday in the round of 16. 6th time these 2 historic programs, BYU and Stanford, have clashed in this NCAA tournament. BYU won the first 2, Stanford's won the last 3. Kelly Pagador, throw in, taken back by BYU. Polino forward for Wade. Heavy touch by Olivia Wade. Rare miscue for the BYU midfielder today. Olivia Wade, junior from Kaysville, Utah. Paulson, the substitute. Catherine Paulson came on just a moment ago. Lino centralizes for Shepard. Jamie Shepard, all sorts of space. Paulson will take it back. And now here comes Stanford in a 4v4. Paulson looking for a through ball. It's blocked, but then taken back by Ike. Again defended well by BYU, but they leave space on the flank for Smith. Logan Smith back for Ike, takes a look, and it sails wide. Substitute for Stanford. Engie to the bench. And Lumi Kostmeyer, freshman forward out of Connecticut, comes on. Ike too heavy on the angle there.
He replaces number 5, Engie.
Lumi Kostmeyer into the game for Stanford. An explosive piece off the bench, 10 goals. That matches her with Ike for the team lead. 23 points for Kostmeyer. Ike at the top of the box, and it's punched aside by Mason. Jasmine Ike, the goal scorer for the Cardinal, had 3 white jerseys around her. Look at the ability of Jasmine Ike to create a shooting lane. Nice save by Mason, but it'll turn into Stanford's 4th corner.
Taking a corner kick for Stanford, number 12, Jasmine Ike.
Ike, in swinging ball. Out wide, free for the taking. BYU comes away with it. And ball will go back Stanford's way. Mark Kedlick, our center referee, determining Allie Fryer. Guilty party there. Out wide for Pagador. Paulson off the bench. Doesn't have the angle. Read well by Olivia Smith, who wins possession back for BYU. Entertaining and exciting first half. Goal in the 4th minute by Olivia Wade. Equalizer from Jasmine Ike in the 22nd. Couple of teams that have not lost in a really long time. BYU unbeaten in their last 12, 8-0-4 since a September 10th setback to Utah Valley. Stanford's unbeaten in their last 11. They are 10-0-1 since a 2-1 loss to USC on September 23rd. Stanford's other loss came to Northwestern. Great season for the Wildcats this year. They earned a number 4 seed in this tournament. BYU's setbacks, Utah Valley, it's their most recent loss. As McCarthy brings it forward, no one home for the Cougars. BYU's other loss came back on September 1st. They fell to Alabama 3-2. Alabama, one of the 4 number 1 seeds in this tournament. Florida State, Alabama, UCLA, and Notre Dame, the number 1 seeds. Notre Dame is the 1 seed in this particular bracket. So the Irish, if they keep advancing, would be able to play at home all the way through the round of 8. And if Notre Dame is able to win 2 games this weekend on their home field, the winner of Saturday's game here in Chapel Hill would go to South Bend. Stanford could earn a home game in the round of 8 with a couple of upsets. Ball out wide. Stanford bringing bodies forward into the box, but too heavy. Lumi Kostmeyer unable to get there. take a look for her potential 11th goal of the season. Notre Dame, by the way, their portion of the bracket, they'll take on Santa Clara, who defeated Stanford in the tournament last year. Michigan State TCU also in South Bend this weekend, the bottom left portion of the women's bracket, as you see it on NCAA.com. It's not like basketball where the regions are named. McCarthy. McCarthy trying to turn the corner along the end line. Has help from behind. Long shot on frame, punched away, kept in, and the flag comes up. Offside call against Allie Fryer. That was dangerous because Ryan Campbell, in clearing it away, was not able to keep the ball out of bounds. So, now one offside call against each side. 14-4 shot advantage for Stanford. Vaca. Ahead for Fryer. McCarthy looking for a shooting lane. McCarthy steps inside the box. McCarthy still with the ball at her feet. Ultimately, the shooting lane closed off really tight, and Campbell makes an easy save. That was defended really well by Stanford, but down in a seated motion is Kennedy Wesley, one of the team captains. See Wesley with that yellow captain's armband on the Cardinal red jersey. And she'll receive some attention. So play comes to a stop with just over 6 minutes left in the opening half. To her feet goes Wesley. Good to see Wesley get to her feet, and she'll walk off herself. So a couple of subs here. BYU will bring a sub in. And Stanford will replace Wesley. The body that comes on for Stanford to replace Wesley is Avani Brandt, sophomore out of New York. The BYU sub that just entered, Paula Garcia, sophomore from Mapleton, Utah. All but 3 players on this BYU roster hailing from the state of Utah. Stanford quickly to the other end. Cross blocked. This is Logan Smith, the substitute for the Cardinal. Gets the corner turned, but more white jerseys than red in the box. Throw for Stanford. Kelly Pagador will take it. BYU trying to mount an attack here. Cougars have had a lot more possession in recent minutes compared to the middle portion of this first half. That was all Stanford as the Cardinal fired off double-digit shots. They had the look from Williams that hit the crossbar. And then eventually, Jasmine Ike, with her 5th goal of this NCAA tournament, evened up the match at 1 apiece in the 22nd.
Yes. She scored 4 goals in that first.
Smith back for Vaca. As BYU switches play, looks down the left flank. Polino. Daviana Vaca, 27. Up it comes for Garcia. Garcia, ball spun back. 4 minutes left in the opening half. Another Stanford throw for Pagador. Couple more subs here as we wind down in the first half. Coming in for Stanford, Amy Sayer, junior from Sydney, Australia. And coming in for BYU, Ruby Halatic, freshman from Ladera Ranch, California. Those 3 Cougars not hailing from the Beehive State. Logan Smith sends it down the sideline. Unable to connect, though. Here's some space for Allie Fryer. Fryer, can she get the corner turned? And she cannot. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for Stanford as the clock rolls under 3 minutes in the opening half. Up the near flank, Pagador. Pagador changes direction on her run. Through the middle. Doms had the assist. Stanford into the box. Sayer, can she keep it alive? Doms, shot pops up in the air, unable to be cleared cleanly. And Kostmeyer sends it on the ground to goal. That's where Savannah Mason picks it up. 3 saves apiece. Now BYU on the counter. Polino blows by a couple of defenders, sails one off the top netting. It's the 11th all-time meeting and 6th in the NCAA tournament between Stanford and BYU. Has lived up to what we thought it would be. 2 of the top offenses in the nation. 22 combined shots, 2 combined goals. And a wide open style with both teams enjoying moments where they've had control of this game. For the winner, an opportunity to see either North Carolina or Georgia on Saturday morning. For the loser, a long flight back west with the season complete. Minute left in the half. Vaca. Vaca steps inside the box but cannot get the timing right as Garcia was unable to get to that ball. Ryan Campbell taking her time. Seems unlikely Stanford will push anything too aggressively here. Paulson gives it away to Smith. Polino. Shepard toward the top of the box. One back by Stanford, and the horn will sound. 4th minute, Olivia Wade puts BYU on the board. Jasmine Ike had an answer in the 22nd. 22nd minute for her 5th goal of this NCAA tournament. It evened up the score at 1 apiece. 23 total shots after they went back and adjusted the official stats. 16 for Stanford, 7 for BYU. Shots on goal, 5-4 in favor of the Cardinal. Corners, a 4-1 advantage for Stanford against a BYU team that allows opponents to attempt just over 2 corners per game. Stanford in the Cardinal red, BYU in the whites with the blue bottoms, and this is Ike along the end line. Ike with 4 goals against San Jose State and Stanford's 6-0 domination of the Spartans in the tournament first round back in Palo Alto last week. As for BYU, the Cougars got some revenge. Their most recent loss came on September 10th to Utah Valley by a 4-2 score. They beat Utah Valley in the rematch 3-0 in the first round last Friday. BYU opened up the first half with an offensive flurry. Can they do the same in the second? Ball headed on, but easily playable for Stanford's keeper, Ryan Campbell. Campbell, a junior from Laguna Beach, California. And you notice the way the shadows are falling on the field. Really the only area of the playing surface that is in consistent light is that far corner over there by the ACC logo, left side of your screen. As the ball is won back by BYU. Cougars trying to build something here. Slipped forward past McCarthy. And cleared away by Stanford. Now taken back by the Cougars. Bracken Mazingo has a shot blocked. Sent away toward the midline. But for nearly that entire first half, Savannah Mason, the keeper for BYU, was staring into the sun. Now, with the shadows on the field, Campbell, who's in that goal in the second half, has an easier go of things at that end of the field. Ball headed on by McCarthy, and over the end line it goes. It'll be a goal kick for Stanford. Meanwhile, the right side of the field, where Mason is now and where Campbell, who you see on your screen, played in the first half, that's been in the shadows since this game got going. Even at 1 apiece here in this 11th all-time meeting in a series that Stanford leads 7-3. As is expected with 2 programs as successful as these, far from the first go-round in the NCAA tournament. 6th time these 2 teams have gotten together in the postseason event, but first on a neutral field. BYU won a couple of home games, 98 and 2000. Stanford's won at home in 2009, 2015, and 2019. Well past the far post on a deep cross from Paige Rubenstein. A goal kick here for Savannah Mason. Played on the ground out wide. Last time these 2 teams got together was that 2019 national quarterfinal. Stanford would go on to win the national championship that season. Cardinals' 3rd national title since 2011. Throw in coming. Kendall Peterson's throw. This is Allie Fryer, who came off the bench in the first half. Olivia Wade, 10 and white, the goal scorer. Long distance look from Olivia Smith. Goal kick coming for Stanford. BYU has experience at the College Cup as well. Playing for a national championship last year, ultimately falling in PKs to Florida State. FSU out of the ACC claiming their 3rd national title since 2018, or 2014 rather. They also won it in the 2018 season. Ball crossed right to Campbell. So yet again, just like the first half, BYU dominant in possession in the first 5 minutes. The difference from the opening half, though, is that the Cougars have not been able to cash it in into a goal as they did in the 4th minute. A BYU team that leads the nation in shots per game with 26. Stanford leads the nation in shots on goal per game with 11. A highly anticipated offensive clash between 2 of the best NCAA women's soccer programs in the West. Sierra Engie centers it. Julia Leontini, 14 in Cardinal Red, got involved. Maya Doms Kelly Pagador now. Dipped back for Elise Evans. Fryer knocked it free for BYU. Rubenstein over the top. Samantha Williams stays on side. Williams 1v1 against Vaca. Her cross toward the far post. And a little bit too heavy for Abby Grubel. Came flying in, trying to get a boot on it. It does result in a corner for Stanford. Their 5th of the game and 1st of the second half. Jasmine Ike will make her way over to the flag to get set to take the corner. Savannah Mason ready to be tested in net for BYU. Here it comes. Low in swinger. And it's out off of Stanford. I think if you ask Jasmine Ike, she wanted a little more elevation and distance on that one. Savannah Mason has started every game in goal for BYU. 70% save percentage on the season coming into play today. Lots of red jerseys around there, Cardinal red. Ike doesn't have the numbers, turns on the Jets though, trying to cause a deep giveaway back there by Laveni Vaca. Kendall Peterson, 16 in whites, playing on a yellow card. Was booked in the first half. Wade. Wade, the goal scorer. Inside the box she goes. Wade, her cross. Cleared away. BYU had a look there, but had a player fall down. Now here comes Williams on the counter. Williams brings it forward, does not have the numbers, and Ike can't time up her run to get there. Samantha Williams just kept on moving and moving down the center of the field. Engie. Doms. All region selection a year ago. Very long shot. Well high. Both teams now in double figures in shots, by the way. BYU with 10, Stanford with 16. Check that. That was the 17th shot by the Cardinal. Out off BYU, so a throw for Stanford in their attacking half of the field. Worth noting, Stanford begins the second half with Avani Brandt, 18 in Cardinal red on the back line. As here comes McCarthy for BYU, and McCarthy is taken down. Rachel McCarthy still down. Mark Cadleck, our center referee, called the foul on Elise Evans. No card, though. But Stanford playing to start the second half without Kennedy Wesley. An all Pac-12 selection. Wesley went down inside the box that Stanford was defending in the first half. Late in half number one, has not returned. Brecken Mozingo over the ball, about 25 or so yards away. Mozingo lofts it forward, too heavy for her Cougar teammates, and an easy play for Ryan Campbell. 10 minutes gone in the second half. Game level at 1. Olivia Wade in the 4th minute for BYU. Jasmine Ike in the 22nd minute for Stanford. Winner of this one moves on to see the winner of North Carolina and Georgia 11:30 a.m. Saturday right here at Dorrance Field in Chapel Hill. Mozingo's cross blocked. Right back to Brecken Mozingo, goes to her left foot. Ellie Mon took the quick volley, missed left. A goal kick here for Stanford. Long ball. Jasmine Ike down. Sierra Engie puts the ball down as Stanford will take a free kick. They'll bring the back line up to do it. Paige Rubenstein. High arcing ball for a switch play. And it'll go out of bounds off BYU, so Pagador will throw it in for Stanford. Knocked away by McCarthy. No one there for BYU on the near side of the field. And this sustained run of possession for BYU continues on. So we get deeper and deeper into this second half. BYU has had more chances at a quality buildup throughout the half compared to Stanford. Said a couple of times in that first half, after BYU scored in the 4th minute, you definitely felt like the game was far, far from over at that point, aside from just the obvious fact of having 86 minutes to go. But as this game goes along, next goal, you feel like has a real shot at being a game winner. Ike across to the top of the box, unable to be handled cleanly. Doms keeps it on her feet, though. Sends it out for Rubenstein. Rubenstein, can she get there? She can on the overplay. Has freedom. Cross forward for Ike. Blocked around in the box and sent away by BYU, only to see Stanford take it back. A flurry of activity on the right end of the field for the first time in a while. Rubenstein again, she's been involved in the attack a lot in this second half. Long ball forward. The way that Stanford was building through the first half, though, you feel like these long balls over the top, not exactly necessary given the manner in which they were able to build pretty successfully and limit BYU in possession. But the way that this game has had its seesaw moments, BYU's also had plenty of runs of sustained possession. Here's a chance for McCarthy. Flag stays down. Ball wide of the post. Oh, what a golden opportunity for Rachel McCarthy. Stayed on side. Couldn't put it on frame. A beautiful ball from behind the midline over the top of the defense where only McCarthy could gather it. Sent it wide right. BYU's best look of this second half, but Mozingo sends it through the midfield. Was out wide, intended for McCarthy, who started a run toward goal. Stanford takes it back. Headed on toward midfield. Doms. Lets the ball get away. Rubenstein. Up to the left flank now. And out it goes for a Stanford corner. 6th corner of the game for Stanford. BYU still has just one. Ike will line up to take this. Her last corner, low and flat. This one. Inside the 6. Blocked off the face of Pagador, who is down. And the ball will roll over the sideline. Play will come to a stop as the officials will go 10 to Pagador. Mark Kadlec makes the signal to the bench. Don't need to come out right now. Kelly Pagador stays down. Pagador back to her feet now. That'll be a throw in here for Stanford. A throw coming from Rubenstein. Here comes the pressure from BYU. McCarthy racing into space. Evans back to Pagador. Stanford's got a lot of bodies in the Cardinal red uniforms back there. Starting to turn the tide on possession as we push toward the midpoint of this second half. Over 15 minutes in. Mazingo. Smith's ball toward the top of the box. Mazingo, lefty boot. Campbell to her knees to make the play. A second half in which BYU was dominant early. Rachel McCarthy had a look on a brilliant ball over the top behind the defense, but McCarthy pushed it wide right. It's been the best scoring chance of the half. Now here's Williams. Williams hit the crossbar in the first half for Stanford. Doms out wide. Pagador forward now. This is Abby Grubel. Grubel, change of direction, making her way toward the top of the box. Grubel, a righty shot. Williams can't connect with it, and it's out for a BYU goal kick. Giveaway by the Cougars as Rubenstein will watch it roll out of play, and then we'll throw it in for her Cardinal. 31 combined shots, far from a surprise when you have a Stanford team that leads the nation in shots on goals per game and a BYU team that leads the nation in shots per game. Engie from way well to the left. Stanford had some quality buildup in the first half, and it led to that goal by Jasmine Ike. You just don't think the Cardinal need to be taking long shots like that. And now here comes BYU. Soft pass to Wade, the goal scorer. Pagador. Pagador. Ike, one touch. And out off of Stanford, a throw for BYU. The Cougars will make a sub. BYU's sub is at the top of the formation. Out goes Rachel McCarthy. And BYU will go to the bench to bring back in Bella Folino. So Folino, a starter, back in. Oh, here's an opportunity for Allie Fryer. Now, ball crossed over, looking for Polino, the sub. Bounces to the corner of the box, and to the end line it goes. A corner for BYU, just their second of the game. Fryer and Eliman were in the neighborhood. Here's the corner. Far post, Campbell there to take it in for Stanford. So another great chance for BYU. Nice footwork and room to run for Pagador. Pagador, Olivia Smith takes possession back for the Cougars. Jamie Shepard. Eliman. Fryer. Stanford dropping bodies back again. Space for Doms through the midfields. Waiting for a teammate to make a run. It's Grubel on the far side. Grubel, can she dribble through Smith? From distance yet again. Very tough angle and well out of play. So it'll be a sub here for Stanford. Grubel to the bench. Catherine Paulson returns. Paulson extended a run in the first half. Third-year sophomore from Los Altos, California. Savannah Mason, BYU keeper, puts the ball down. Shepard centers it. Mon streaking forward, takes possession back for Stanford, ushered to the ground. Paulson off the bench inside the box. Paulson turns and Mason makes the play along the post. Shot number 21 for Stanford, make it 34 combined shots in this one. So we've told you all broadcast long. BYU leads the nation in total shots per game. Stanford leads the nation in shots on goal per game. Wouldn't you know the figures are reversed here today? Stanford 21 total shots, BYU 7 shots on frame. Bella Polino started the game off the bench here in the second half. Brecken Mazingo on an overlapping run. Mazingo finds Fryer. Fryer makes her defender fall down. Fryer inside the box. And it's played away. Corner number 3 for BYU. Third corner for the Cougars. Still a 6-3 advantage in corners for Stanford. But Brecken Mazingo lines up along the flag, and another chance for the Cougars to try and pull ahead. Mazingo's left-footed boots. Right to Campbell. Back-to-back corners for BYU that have settled right in the midst of the Stanford keeper.
Yeah, okay, shut up. I'm so lonely.
Williams heads it to Ike. The goal scorer all the way on the left side of the field for Paulson. And Paulson, heavy contact with Vaca, and out off BYU for a Stanford corner. Vaca was protesting that she was fouled. Mark Cadillac, our center referee, says it's a corner for the Cardinal. Well, after back-to-back corners from that far flag taken by Ike, Stanford will switch things up. Julia Leontini over the ball. Leontini swings it in, popped up in the air, and over the end line, out off Stanford.
Damn it. Someone better freaking score.
This is not good. If this game doesn't go to finishing regulation,
Savannah Mason will take this goal kick, as she has done all afternoon long, starting every game for BYU this season. Pagador turns. Pagador forward, gives it away. Vaca. Doms will turn. Ike making a run. Stanford's turned up the pressure a little bit. BYU, though, with the best scoring looks of this second half. A second half that is just over 20 minutes remaining in it. The winner of this one onward to see the winner of North Carolina and Georgia. And here comes BYU again. It's Olivia Wade, the goal scorer. Bodies in the box, and the flag comes up. The entire field now covered in shade here at Dorrance Field as we wind down in regulation play. And a point that was made a little bit earlier in the half rings even more true now. It certainly feels like the next goal could be the game winner. Ike. It'll be a free kick for BYU off the Stanford foul. Pretty clean game. 12 total fouls, 8 committed by BYU. Evans. Too heavy, though, for Ike. Stanford just doesn't have the numbers back. Mozingo out wide. Mozingo, left-footed boot for Fryer. Well too heavy of a first touch, and BYU gives it away. Can Stanford turn this into sustained build-up? Beautiful ball out wide. This is Paulson, the substitute. Paulson stops at the top of the box. Paulson trying to turn. Paulson's ball down to Williams. Williams looking for an angle. It's blocked. BYU sends it away. Now here come the Cougars on the counter. Though the touch is heavy. And right back to Paulson. Ike, the goal scorer for Stanford. Tough angle, so she dishes off to Paulson. Paulson, shot blocked. Ike keeps it. All the way out wide for the open Rubenstein. Rubenstein will lift it in. And it's taken back by BYU and Mozingo. Leontini now serves it back in. Williams back for Doms. Here comes Stanford again. Samantha Williams. Her cross punched out, still free. Doms trying to take a look. Loses her footing. Still loose inside the box. Rubenstein over it. Rubenstein's cross is blocked. Again, Stanford challenges for it, and Ike takes it back. Williams trying to turn. Her cross bounces around wide of the post. It's out off BYU for a Stanford corner, but what a flurry of activity in front of the goal. Ike laid it off for Williams. And now off the corner, Mason takes it in. 17 minutes to go. NCAA rule change this year eliminated overtime in regular season college soccer and changed the overtime in postseason to a full and complete 20 minutes. No more golden goal. So you play 10 minutes shooting at one end of the field, take a break, shoot at the other end of the field. If you're still level, you go to PKs. So given that neither of these teams play in conferences with conference tournaments, and they both handily won their NCAA openers, neither team has played in overtime this year. Mon. Polino's shot was blocked. Wade, the goal scorer. Fryer. Shepard wheels it wide. Fryer into space. Fryer blocked. Subs for BYU, 3 new Cougars entering the proceedings, and Stanford brings in their co-goal scoring leader off the bench in Lumi Kostmeyer. Kostmeyer, she will replace Sierra Engie. Kostmeyer and Ike, 10 goals apiece. As for BYU, saw Zoe Jacobs enter the proceedings. Rachel McCarthy also back in for BYU. McCarthy had a great look on goal early in this first half. Vaca, Evans, ball pops away outside the box. And Vaca loses her footing. It'll be a goal kick for Stanford. BYU fans and players alike thought that should have been a foul. Mark Kadlec disagreed. Stanford's had some opportunities here in the second half as they try and get it out of the defensive third. It's been BYU who's held the majority of the possession throughout this second half. A change from the first, where BYU started fast and then Stanford controlled the middle portion of that half, able to find the equalizer. McCarthy lost the ball. Williams connects with Doms, has help wide from Pagador. Pagador streaking forward. Catherine Paulson off the bench. Here's Paulson. Paulson from a long distance away. Williams will track it down outside the box. Ball never got to the end line. Williams with a cross. It's blocked. And sent away over the sideline for a deep Stanford throw. Throw down near the end line. McCarthy. Throw forthcoming for Kendall Peterson, playing with a yellow card. Through and run out of bounds. Cougars trying to patiently build here. 4th minute goal from Olivia Wade for BYU. 22nd minute goal for Jasmine Ike of Stanford. We're even at 1. Winner moves on to see the winner of North Carolina and Georgia in the round of 16. For the loser, the season comes to a close. The 6th meeting between these two teams in the NCAA tournament alone. Stanford's won the last 3 after BYU won the first 2. Pagador. Paulson stumbles, keeps possession, now turns. And it's out off BYU for a Stanford corner, their 9th. So Stanford tripling up BYU in corners. BYU team that was allowing opponents just 2.3 corners a game. Corner into the box, punched away. It'll stay with Stanford as it's settled down. Ball over the top, and again, off her line, Mason able to get there. That was Evans, the center back, making the run. Now the ball taken away. Mason off her line, but Rubenstein can't put it on frame. Paige Rubenstein had a great look. No one was there for Stanford along the far post, so the ball lofted in, wound up being a shot. And BYU makes a sub here. Natalie Wells, a senior, into the proceedings. Abby Grubel reports to the table for Stanford. Starting forward for the Cardinal will wait to check back in. Taken back by Ike and Stanford. Paulson, Ike and Wade, the two goal scorers, getting involved. And now here comes Grubel. Grubel, she will replace Catherine Paulson. So it's a reverse of the sub that brought Paulson into the game. Grubel rested up. Stanford, 10 minutes to go to try and find the go-ahead goal. Same story for BYU. Here comes Zoe Jacobs for the Cougars. Jacobs can't beat Rubenstein to the ball, though. Now Doms. Doms has it blocked by Wade. 5 red jerseys around Wade, but she's able to wiggle it out of there. Switch the point of attack. Deep throw for Stanford. Vonnie Brandt came in late in the first half, subbing in for the injured Kennedy Wesley. Brandt's played solidly on the back line since. Peterson over the ball for a free kick for BYU. McCarthy. Jacobs has it taken away. BYU pushing it up the field slowly but surely for this throw. Now here comes Allie Fryer after a rest. Fryer came off the bench in the first half, started here in the second half, and now back in. So Paulino, Fryer, and McCarthy, who have been rotating up front for BYU, now all in at the same time. BYU with their strongest attacking players all on the field at the same time with the regulation clock under 8 minutes. What a run inside the box from Smith, but she lifts it high. Olivia Smith tried to take it herself. Evans forward across the midline. Wade for BYU, dribbling into 3 red shirts. And that's blocked. That's out off Stanford, and it's a BYU corner, their 4th. BYU's last 2 corners both went directly to the goalkeeper, Campbell, which you can look as a positive in that they've been right in the center of the frame. You can look at it as a negative in that BYU has not generated anything from them. Here comes the corner. Lofted to the top of the 6 this time. Jacobs, her shot, tipped over the bar by Campbell. Ryan Campbell keeps it 1-1. It'll be another corner for BYU, but the Stanford keeper keeping her team in it. Zoe Jacobs shot it from 20 yards away, and Ryan Campbell tipped it over the bar. Second ball back in. Campbell again tumbles down over the ball as she withstands BYU's best scoring chance in the last several minutes. Closing in on 6 to go in regulation. Maya Doms Wade wins it back. Unable to sustain it though. Ike over the top. Here comes the run from Williams. Williams screened off from Mason, but Mason picks up the loose ball. Round of 32 action. BYU and Stanford playing for the right to face off against the winner of North Carolina and Georgia on Saturday morning. BYU going quickly. Fryer, can she turn the corner? And we have a foul call. Foul against BYU. Shepard. Ooh, here's space for Jacobs. Zoe Jacobs plays it centrally inside the box. Fryer falls down. Play on. Now Kostmeyer takes it back for Stanford. Sends it forward to nobody, and some frustration off the miscommunication. Four and a half to go in regulation time. 43 combined shots. Perhaps here comes another one. Cougars with Wade over the ball. Wade turning. One back by Evans of Stanford. Williams. And now here comes some numbers for the Cardinal on the counter. Williams dribbles through two white shirts. Out wide for Kostmeyer. Kostmeyer has it blocked, and Stanford will get a throw and a favorable angle for the first time in a while. Stanford had that flurry in front of the goal that led to a corner. Kostmeyer will come off. Sierra Engie will return. Meanwhile, for BYU, McCarthy to the bench, and Brecken Mozingo comes on. Paige Rubenstein to toss it in for Stanford. Williams. Leontini.
Why would you do that though? Like,
Ball will bounce away off BYU and a throw for Stanford. 3 to play in regulation time. Ike, the goal scorer. 5 in this NCAA tournament. 4 last game, and the 1 today for Stanford. Stanford ball again. Reminder, if we reach overtime, we will play the full 20 minutes based on the rule change this season. BYU foul. Stanford will have a free kick just behind the midline in the defensive half. Cardinal will push bodies up toward the top of the box. Elise Evans, a right-footed boot. Engie. Forward for Leontini. Leontini, ball is loose in the 6. BYU just clears it away. Under 2 minutes, Stanford keeps up the possession. It's Williams. Williams dribbles through 2 defenders, dribbles past another. Williams, back heel flick, on to Doms. Stanford drops it all the way back with 100 ticks to go in regulation. Doms steps past one defender in Wade. Doms centrally, looking for a shooting lane. Grubel out wide. Grubel, can she get the corner turned? Defended well by Olivia Smith. Sub coming for Stanford. 75 seconds to go in regulation time.
oh my God, there's literally a minute left.
Out goes Williams. In for the second time today, Logan Smith. 1 minute in regulation. Field's been tilted toward the right end, the field that Stanford's shooting at here the last couple of minutes. Evans. Rubenstein for Smith, the substitute with the fresh legs off the bench. Smith working at end line. Can she get a cross in? It's headed away. It'll be a Stanford corner. Cardinal hustling to get this one set up. Julia Leontini will take it. The 10th corner of the game for Stanford with 30 seconds left in regulation. To the top of the 6. A shot! Bounces away. Another corner for Stanford. Leontini again. Leontini as the 10-second countdown begins. Bounced around. BYU will send it away. One last shot here for Stanford. It is gathered in by Mason, and 90 not enough to decide this one. 20 more minutes. We'll go to overtime between Stanford and BYU. Take a breather. Come on back. 20 more minutes to try and find a winner here at Dorrance Fields.
Oh my God, are you gonna do my fucking right balance?
We welcome you back to Dorrance Field in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, where 90 minutes not enough to decide a winner in this NCAA Division I Women's Soccer Tournament second round matchup between Regional 3 seed Sanford and Regional 6 seed BYU. Matt Kraus back with you. Stanford won, BYU won. We go to overtime. Olivia Wade scored in the 4th minute for BYU. An unassisted goal and a laser from the top of the box to open up the scoring. Stanford's best stretch of this game was the midpoint of the first half, and it culminated in Jasmine Ike's 5th goal of the NCAA tournament in the 22nd minute. 4-goal game against San Jose State last time out. She scored her 5th of the tournament here today to even us at 1. And then despite a back-and-forth second half in which both teams had some quality looks, we stay even at 1. Try these numbers on after 90 minutes. A combined 45 shots, 16 on goal, 16 combined corners. And here we go to overtime. Stanford's in the cardinal red. BYU is in the whites with the blue bottoms. NCAA rule change this year. No more golden goal in postseason overtime. We will play out this overtime period to a full 20. We will switch ends between the 10 minutes. So it now matches the international style of overtime that you'll see in the knockout stages, perhaps in the Men's World Cup that begins here in a couple of days. So here comes a free kick for Julia Leontini. Stanford with multiple opportunities in the waning moments of that second half. BYU, though, held possession for the meat of the second 45. Ball forward. It's played by Savannah Mason, the keeper for the Cougars. Leontini was trying to set up Maya Doms for a one-touch. The winner of this one moves on to see the winner of North Carolina and Georgia. Tar Heels and Bulldogs now will not start on time at 6 o'clock, but that game comes up after hours here at Dorrance Field. The loser, a flight west with the season complete. Mon for Bracken Mozingo. Rachel McCarthy had perhaps the best look of the second half. Now misses wide of the near post. McCarthy got a beautiful ball over the top. Was 1v1 against Campbell, had Campbell off her line, but sent it out wide right. BYU's best scoring opportunity of the second half to try and pull ahead 2-1. Samantha Williams, Ike. Mozingo ushered down by Doms. She's frustrated with the call, pretty obvious. Mark Kadlec blows his whistle and sets up the free kick now for Mozingo. Bracken Mozingo lines up for a left-footed boot. Here it is. Well too heavy for any teammates. Right into the midst of Ryan Campbell. That's kind of been a theme for BYU throughout this game. The set pieces, while they've tried to put them on frame, multiple corners, now that free kick, have gone straight into the gloves of the Stanford keeper. Ike, one touch it back. High IQ play, now over the top for Williams. The flag stays down. Mason's off her line and knocks it away. Williams, a hard tumble. And a great look for Stanford goes by the wayside. Now Wade forward, BYU on the quick counter. Polino challenging Campbell, who will bang it away. Mozingo keeps it up for BYU. Olivia Smith look for Mozingo now. Bracken Mozingo hits the brakes. Zoe Jacobs had a good look late in the second half off the bench. Jacobs 5 and white. Ellie Mon from distance. It'll bounce easily to Campbell. It is almost remarkable, given the flurry of offensive attempts at both ends of the field, that we have not had a goal since the 22nd minute of this game. Both teams basically one pass away for that entire time, and whoever wins this one will be so deserving. Polino unable to connect with McCarthy. Now here comes Stanford on the counter. Maya Doms out wide for Williams. Williams gets inside of Jacobs, who plays it back to the keeper, Mason. We told you right off the top of the broadcast today, if you like offense, this is the game for you. 47 combined shots, 18 of them on frame. Three-time national champion Stanford, all the titles coming since 2011, facing the reigning national runners-up in BYU. It's a matchup that, yes, their body of work this year has turned it into a 6 versus 3 in the second round, but it feels like one played deeper in this NCAA tournament. Plenty of space on the right flank for BYU. Polino turns into the midfield. Polino, good tackle by Doms, but she took the brunt of it. Falls to all fours. Now, with multiple players down, Mark Cadillac blows his whistle and wants play to come to a halt. Stanford will make a sub. Samantha Williams comes off. Back in Logan Smith. Smith came on in the late stages of that second half for a last push for Stanford.
Entering for Stanford, number 28, Logan Smith. She replaces number 25, Samantha Williams.
If, and it's a big if, given the way that these teams have been taking looks on frame, but if we reach the end of this overtime period knotted up, either at 1-1 or beyond, because no more golden goal this year, we would go to penalty kicks. Whichever team prevails there would move on to the round of 16 to play either North Carolina or Georgia. Abby Grubel works her way into the box, but meets the stingy BYU defense. That's out off Grubel, so a goal kick for Savannah Mason and BYU. Mozingo, all sorts of room through the middle of the field. Widened out for Polino. Polino inside the box, left-footed shot. Sails past the head of McCarthy. Campbell alertly kept her line, made her way toward the post. She was ready. Should McCarthy have gotten ahead on that? Zoe Jacobs takes it back for BYU. It'll roll out of bounds. Who touched it last? It's out off BYU. Stanford ball. Engie dips it back. Out off of BYU again, and Paige Rubenstein will put the ball back in play. Long ball forward. Can McCarthy get there? She can. She'll take possession inside the box. Jacobs with space. Wade scored in the 4th minute. BYU scoreless since. Jacobs again. Shot blocked by Smith. Look at the speed of Smith. The fresh legs coming off the bench. Turns on the Jets. Has one player centrally. It's Ike. Ike making a run at it. BYU circles it out of trouble, though. Izzy Stratton, the freshman, 24 in white, made that play defensively. Terminated the scoring chance. Jacobs, again forward. Leontini for Ike. Ike way out wide on the flank, limited help. She'll take her time. Smith thought about lofting it into the box, instead dropped it off for Ike. Ike will go 1v1. Vaca played it away. Corner number 12 for Stanford to BYU's 5. And Ike is down inside the box. Clock stops with 1:13 left in OT.
That's so drama.
Did you get the oh, you did. Okay.
So Ike taking the hard contact there against Leveni Vaca. Corner for Stanford. Julia Leontini will take the corner from the end of the field where the Cardinal had 2 looks in the final 30 seconds of regulation. Leontini inside the 6. Popped up and then cleared away. Stanford will be able to take this back, presumably. And they do. 1 minute remaining in the first overtime period. We'll switch ends of the field, play 10 more minutes. Back heel flick, Leontini unable to get there. And even if either team scores in the remaining 10 minutes and 40 seconds or so of overtime, we will play to the conclusion of the overtime clock. Vaca keeps it in down the sidelines. BYU. McCarthy turns the corner. McCarthy inside the box. Here comes Rachel McCarthy, but runs into 3 defenders. Now BYU takes it from distance, wide right. Jamie Shepard unable to put it on frame. And that should just about do it in overtime number 1. Campbell will keep it on the ground. Teams will head to their benches, then switch ends of the fields. We pause again, still even at 1. 10 more minutes to try and find a winner. If not, we'll head to PKs. What a match here in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, of course.
We know that we'd reach the second overtime. We didn't know if we would reach the second overtime tied at 1. That is the case, though. It's BYU and Stanford, the 3 and 6 seeds in this quadrant of the bracket, playing in this NCAA Division I Women's Soccer Tournament second round matchup. The winner moves on to see the winner of North Carolina and Georgia. They will come up after this game at Dorrance Field in Chapel Hill, the Tar Heels home fields. 48 combined shots, Stanford 29, BYU 19. BYU at the edge, though, in shots on goal, 10-8. Corners, 12-5, Stanford. BYU scored in the 4th minute. Olivia Wade with the goal. Stanford had an answer in the 22nd. Jasmine Ike, 5th goal of the NCAA tournament after a 4-goal game last time out against San Jose State. Since then, both teams have felt kind of one pass away multiple times. Here's Wade, the goal scorer for BYU from that similar spot on the field, this time well wide. Ryan Campbell, the goalkeeper for Stanford, has made 9 saves on the contest. Savannah Mason in the other net for BYU with 7 stops. If you just joined us, weren't familiar, the NCAA changed the rules for college soccer overtime headed into this season. No more golden goal, so even if one team scores at any point during this double overtime period, we will play it out to its completion. Should we remain tied at 1, when this clock bleeds away to 0-0s at the end of this period, we would go to penalty kicks to determine who moves on to the round of 16. Long ball. Jennifer Rockwood's Cougars, Paul Ratcliffe's Stanford Cardinal. 2 veteran coaches matching wits here. This is Abby Grubel. Grubel's cross stays in bounds, and Mason takes care of it. Thought that may take a hop, skip, and a jump over the end line for a 13th Cardinal corner of the game. Stanford takes possession back here. Cross goes into the box, just away from Ike. Sent out wide. Vaca. Vaca finds Fryer up ahead. Fryer settles it down. Chipped back inside. Can Ike keep possession of this in turn? She does. Switch of play out wide to the right. Logan Smith stays on the field. Smith, 3 different runs as a sub during today's game. Smith moves it forward herself, takes a shot that's nowhere near the cage.
The ball in the back of the net.
Stanford won the 2019 national championship en route to that national title. A national quarterfinal round of 8 win against BYU. That was the last meeting between these two. Stanford didn't make the tournament in the abbreviated and altered COVID year, and then lost in the first round last year against Santa Clara. They're trying to return to the round of 16. BYU was there just last year en route to becoming the national runners-up, falling in PKs to Florida State in the national title. BYU has never made the round of 16 in consecutive seasons, despite making it 7 times in their history. Paulino bringing it forward. Wade slips it out wide for Mozingo. That was the exact spot on the field where Wade started her motion toward goal that led to the 4th minute score for BYU. Olivia Smith will have to back up toward the end line. Mark Kadlec wants to make sure that she's, oh no, it's beyond the midline. Mark Kadlec makes sure she's in the right spot. 5.5 left in overtime. Will either team find the back of the net in that remaining time, or will we go to PKs to decide a winner? Polino doesn't see a lane at the top of the box. Wade takes a look over the bar. Campbell touches it away. Her second save that looks like that one in this game, reaching up, deflecting a ball over the crossbar, leading to a corner for BYU.
What side is the corner on?
I don't know. It's right side. Yeah, bottom side.
Daviana Vaca will stand over the ball. The corner. Headed on, and then played away. Brilliant defensive play by Jasmine Ike. Ike, the goal scorer, who tied this game at 1, just kept it tied at 1. Mozingo, BYU keeping up the pressure here. Stanford will make a sub with 4 minutes left in the overtime period. Catherine Paulson back in for Stanford. Logan Smith has his seat. Now here come the Cardinal. Plenty of space through the midfield, even more space on the left flank. Streaking forward, Pagador. Cut out well by Vaca. This will be a Stanford throw, though. Pagador sees 3.5 on the clock. Ike. Blocked down. And now BYU will take it the other way. How many times have we said that today? Kelly Pagador keeps it on the ground, right to Ike. Engie. Abby Grubel dances around toward the end line, played over set end line by Smith. And it's a corner for Stanford, number 13. 2:40 to go in overtime. Julia Leontini over the ball for the Cardinal. Here it comes. Loose in the box. Did it go in? No. Now still pops around. Stanford claims it was over the line. Somehow BYU kept it out. Mark Kadlec blows his whistle, makes the TV motion with his hands. That means this will go to video review. Did the ball in its entirety cross the line in its entirety? Let's see. And reminder, they have different camera angles that they are looking at than we have here. It's not the second ball. It's the first ball from Elise Evans, 2 in Cardinal red. Kind of spun around there. From this angle, it looked close, but you need indisputable evidence that that ball was in. And again, it is the entire ball must cross the entire line for it to be a goal. One more look coming here. So Mason was unable to clear it out effectively. It's Evans, 2 in red. So there, it looks like it's behind the BYU defender. And there's a moment where I think I see green between the ball and the line, right, little forward, right there. There, I think But I don't know. You need the indisputable evidence, and a reminder, they have different angles than we do at home. And after review, no goal.
What? That's some BS right there. Oh my goodness. That's some garbage.
So now, 2:10 left. No goal. Perhaps an optical illusion from our camera angle. Stanford still with an opportunity. Ike dipped back. Paulson taken back by BYU just inside the box. Stanford keeping up the pressure here late in double overtime. Cardinal trying to find a winner before PKs. Abby Grubel to the top of the box. Gets off a shot, but at a tough angle. It's well past the far post. We roll toward 90 seconds to go. Savannah Mason, 7 saves. The team's now up to 55 combined shots, 22 on goal. The irony in it all is that Stanford has more total shots, the category that BYU leads the nation in per game. BYU has more shots on goal, the category that Stanford leads the nation in per game. Daviana Vaca out for Fryer. Fryer. Evans pokes it out. Evans, who nearly had the winner for Stanford there. It'll be a Cougar throw. Mark Kadlec will back it up. Smith sends it in with 40 seconds to go. No more golden goal, but anything here would almost assuredly be a game winner. 30 seconds left. Stanford's got to go well away from their attacking ends. BYU takes it back. Can Polino get there? No. Maybe a last burst here for Stanford if BYU can't clear this. Angie. Forward for Grubel. BYU content to work the time away.
7, 6, 5.
Vaca dribbles it away. 90, not enough to decide a winner. 110, not enough to decide a winner. So let's go to the penalty spot. PKs from Chapel Hill when you come back.
And we are headed to penalty kicks. Each team will select 10 different kickers. Each team shall take an initial series of 5 kicks. Alternating kicks from each team. After 5 kicks each, the team with the most goals will win and advance to the next round. If the score is still tied, kicks shall continue. Alternatively,